My favorite time of the year is upon us. Playoff hockey. From personal experience, it's a treat for anyone to bear witness in person. 16 teams fighting for the ultimate prize in a wide-open gauntlet that will test both physical and mental fortitude. The parity in the NHL is like no other. Cinderella stories popping up nearly every year. It's an experience you need to relish in at least once in your life. And knowing me, I know just the place to get there. SeatGeek, the sponsor of this video. Every time I've had a desire to go to a playoff game in the past, their app has gotten me there without fail. I don't exaggerate this sport's glory. Do you know how raucous Buffalo's gonna be? That's the kind of experience that's priceless. And SeatGeek sorts all available tickets from red to green on a 1 to 10 scale. Red being bad, green being good. It'll give you a view from where you could be sitting, plus it's all backed by their buyer guarantee. And as always, don't forget to use the code TREE to save $20 off your first purchase. Don't hesitate. Make the trek to watch playoff hockey in person. And use SeatGeek to help you get there. You won't be disappointed. Teams that made it this far certainly aren't either. There was a time when the Avalanche were a wagon beyond compare. An unstoppable force that crushed everything in its path. 2 regulation losses before New Year's deadly. But since then, they've been kinda mid. A bunch of their impenetrable armor's been chipped away from constantly pushing into light speed, resulting in a group that's become quite mortal. And in that pressure cooker of a central, shit spells trouble. Apparently, they're completely useless without the captain in the lineup this season, and it makes no sense. Don't do this, Avs. You went all in for a damn reason. Nathan McKinnon on a warpath. Nazem Kadri's back for the Fields. The Woods are as fruitful as ever. Brent Burns is the modern answer to Ray Bork. Scoring goals at a clip unrivaled by anyone in the league. Everything should be lining up for a run rivaling 2022. Until you get to the President's Trophy curse. They've been afflicted by it. I can't speak for ancient hexes and woes, so you're on your own here, Colorado. If you end up getting knocked out by Mikko in a Game 7 again... The Avs are the snow leopard that mauls you to death. Dallas is the western rattlesnake that slithers behind deadly door number 2. Take every strength that Colorado has, then roughly equal it. Elite forward core, check. Strong defensive structure, check. High-quality goaltending with pedigree, check. Legendary veteran looking for a cup before retirement, that one's missing. I wouldn't get into the Jason Robertson dilemma staring them in the face this offseason, but this is a new day. Windows can be fleeting. And while the Stars have had deep runs, they could never seal the deal. This is the cost of employing Peter DeBoer. Fortunately, he's gone. Now begins another quest for a deep push, one that might be the last for Jamie Benn. Dreams of going far circle again in their minds. Although Mikko was hurt, Milano Cortina and is slowly getting back into game form. And he's still trying to shake off the injury bug. Rupe Hintz and predictably Tyler Seguin, and more. That forward core's getting beaten to a pulp. And team defense is interesting to say the least. They can survive it, but against a powerful foe with a chip on their shoulder, load up on healing potions. The Wild grow weary. They've become impatient with the status quo. A decade of mediocrity and first-round exits have pissed them off to no end. Minnesota's seen by the league as a punchline, an unserious enhancement talent to far superior franchises. The Wild wish to break out of their caste. Everything is being done to get them to the glorious vestiges of the hockey elite. Impact players throughout the lineup. An incredibly strong goalie tandem that rivals anyone in the league. Quinn goddamn Hughes. To break out of a 7-game series spell, everything has to be thrown at the glass ceiling. Those Suter and Parise chains have mostly been removed. Kaprizov's getting paid a king's ransom to score at will. No major health issues headed into April. If there's a year to do anything, this is the one. A glorious chance to overcome the narratives and memes alike. Quite the shame that they're lining up their best team potentially ever in an utter gauntlet of a division. Dallas is all but their equal in many facets. Like many years, flip a coin. You can't keep guessing wrong every damn time. The odds are more likely to accidentally win a series than keep doing this. If you need any evidence that the Pacific Division should be sitting next to Atlantis at the bottom of the ocean, may I present the Los Angeles Kings. A franchise that merely exists to serve as Edmonton's foot pedestal. A group that sold significant pieces at the deadline and lost more to injury. One that shed the incompetent Jim Hiller 9 months too late. When DJ Smith is a vast improvement, you've strayed too far from the light. The Kings have as well. That mini win streak and stealing Panarin for nothing may have given them the wrong impression. This is a team that nearly had as many overtime losses as they did regulation wins. That is fucking diabolical. 33 overtime games on the year. 33! Their special teams are among the worst in the league on all fronts. They score goals at a pace rivaling the Seattle Kraken. Shit, the Milquetoast Kraken have more goals than LA this year. Having to watch Cody Ceci in another April and May, exactly what the doctor ordered. Trap and pray. That's the name of the game for the Kings. Anjay's last strides like this? I guess we'll take the extra games of him in the NHL. Away from the damn Oilers for once. Well done, Vegas. You won a pillow fight. The Golden Knights show no mercy. Cruelty and efficiency rivaling a Chinese sweatshop. If you struggle or show signs of weakness or decline, you're getting processed into dog chow. I don't make the rules, this is how they won a cup in the past. This year was fancied as such a year. At least until the relentless turmoil and stalling of a group unable to launch. The depth woes. The trade for Rasmus Anderson that didn't have desired impact. The injuries to Mark Stone. And the goaltending. Good lord, those netminders should be charged with war crimes. Desperate times call for extreme measures. Bruce Cassidy, thank you for your time, but your flavor of puppy food will be in stores next week. In his stead, John Tortorella? I mean, if he can get Mitch Marner to block shots, then I'll have done his job. It has worked. They haven't lost since not Bruce Cassidy's been behind the bench. Can it be sustained, though? We all know what terrors await net. And unless Carter Hart can regain his lost Philly form, they're in for some rude awakenings. All their chips are placed on the betting table. Time to spin the roulette wheel, Vegas. No wonder why Connor McDavid took a short-term deal this past offseason. He sees the absolute butchery that Stan Bowman's done as a GM here and realizes he's gonna have to bail them out every single night. To be fair, they didn't fall to complete shit when Leon went down to injury, but I don't know if that has more to do with them or the shitty Pacific. Take the last few playoff haters got segments for Edmonton, paste them again here. It's legitimately the same shit. High-end talent and a white-hot power play saving the day on repeat. Unbelievable sieves and liabilities in net. Suspect team depth and defense. Nothing they've done has fixed it. Be it logical move or what the actual hell are you doing, Stan, you fucking hack! You seriously handed an 8-year deal to an offensive black hole? Scrambling to fix that with whatever you could at the deadline? And don't even get me started on the Tristan Jarry debacle. Ass. Stuart Skinner's gone, but at what cost, Edmonton? If they're going for again, it'll be on the backs of Connor and Leon. That's a huge question mark with Draisaitl coming back from a long time on the shelf. Personally, I can't wait for the next terrible move Stan makes as GM. My money's on throwing a 7x5 on Anders League. Turns out having a real coach can help a team finally reach their potential. It took the Ducks long enough. Although with the talent they've amassed over the years, it was only a matter of time. The emergences of Carlson, Seneca, and Gauthier have given them the horsepower to compete with whatever's in the Pacific these days. It's pretty much a demerit with some faint praise. Not really, though. I like their youth. There are plenty of veterans having revivals, pointing right to former New York Rangers here. Well, their special teams are pretty shit, but it's much-needed progression. Bad for Beat got extended due to it, you know. But what's going on in your own zone? Even with the uncanny acquisition of John Carlson, you boys give up goals en masse, and it's gotten significantly worse over the year. You came into the season with Peter Mrazek as your insurance policy? Bad news, he's been out for the year for a while. Like we give shit to Vegas and Edmonton for their net minding, the Ducks are down there with them. So if Lukas Dostal falls to shit like he has since the new year, who's up next? Ville Husso? Quick, send out the lumberjack to chop down another star player from the opposition. Do you have any idea how refreshing it is to not have to cover the organizational incompetence of the Coyotes every year? Gary Bettman kept that franchise along for that long with all those failed ownership groups? The move to Utah offered this group freedom, the ability to develop a core. The ability to supplement that core with quality acquisitions and signings. Do you seriously see fucking Meruelo splurging for Sergachev, Peterka, or Mackenzie Weegar? This is the kind of performance that a fledgling hockey city needs to foster long-term relationships. The first one for these players and staff since the COVID bubble. Less said about that, the better. A force-deep clean finally showing results with a core eager for their first taste of playoffs. And the sad part is, with their record, they might have won the Pacific. It's always a good time. No expectations, playing loose and free. To get anywhere as a wildcard? It mostly depends on Karel Vejmelka. Is he going to perform as expected or fall apart at the worst possible time? Maybe it'll be like them in shootouts and not have to worry about it at all. But a new start deserves a new wrinkle. Their secret weapon lies beneath the surface. Unleash the Xanax!
Dragon Sword! damn it!
There are several telltale signs of the apocalypse. One of them is the Buffalo Sabres emerging from the basement to find incredible form for long stretches of time. The thing is, the change was just so sudden. Early on, they were predictably shit. Another round of blowups and purges were incoming. Then GM Kevin Adams was sent to see palm trees in an abandoned building. After that, the NHL removed the paywalls of their demo disc. The real Sabres could emerge. And none of us could believe it. Buffalo isn't supposed to be good. The playoff drought's nearing the age where it can learn to drive. Sadly, the only thing being driven are pucks to the net. A young, exciting group dazzling with endless scoring waves led by surprisingly solid goaltending. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Sabres are a legit contender. Not even that, Buffalo won their division. A brutal Atlantic. Yeah, we're in this part of the endgame. Hug your loved ones and pray to whatever gods or gods you worship. This kind of sorcery feels unnatural. Almost like a Tage Thompson-type unicorn. I feel like even if they get swept, Sabres fans are just happy the torture's over for at least a moment. Unless Alex Tuck chooses to leave in the offseason. That's not gonna happen though, right? The Lightning know time is short. The core is aging. Their defensive anchors are in their mid-30s. Victor Hedman's had a nightmare season featuring long injury spells and a leave of absence. But little will quench the thirst of a franchise's window nearing the end of its second act. Waves of injuries on defense couldn't stop them. A long-term injury to Braden Point couldn't stop them. Having a ghost player as their backup netminder couldn't either. Next man up in its purest form. Oh look, there's Darren Radish having a career season in their hour of need. And there's JJ Moser being one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. Vasilevsky's in form. That's all you need to know. With the pedigree and skill they boast throughout the lineup, they should be gunning for a deep run. Key here is should. Will Victor Hedman be coming back, or does he need more time to get things right? His presence, even for the adversity he's faced, will be sorely needed. Last year fell flat. It can't happen again. Not with everything they have at stake. 2025 was merely the appetizer of a team playing with house money. This time around, the New Age champs know what's expected of them. They have legitimate firepower in their top six. Their sexy Noah Dobson and Lane Hudson dazzle with offensive prowess. Jakub Dobesh finally managing to stop a puck. And there was much rejoicing in Quebec. The long, painful rebuild has forged something legitimate in Montreal, with Juraj Slafkovsky showing true prowess alongside the dazzling Demidov and Nick Suzuki. Nothing like endless third-period comebacks ad nauseum. It's unsustainable as all hell, but don't tell that to Habs fans. They're still on that Cole Caulfield 50-goal high. Patrick Laine didn't work out here, but honestly, he wasn't needed. Their farm's been quite fruitful with even more on the way. Bad news? You're going up against the buzzsaw in Tampa Bay. Unless you unlock Jonas Johansson easy mode, it's going to be a near Sisyphean effort unless 2010 Halak is unleashed upon the world again. I mean, that's definitely possible. It could be fucking hilarious. The boys club keeps getting away with it. Every move and decision that should result in them getting rightfully overthrown ends up stumbling into a pot of gold and makes them look like geniuses. Last year was a disaster, forcing them to sell at the deadline. Most of the trades they made became an unbelievable boon. Seriously, how the fuck do they make Toronto look idiotic on repeat? Maybe that's why their fans tolerate the hockey equivalent of the Bugatti in a trailer park. David Pasternak and his merry men looking to do anything to push past the villains of old. Maybe Charlie McAvoy can join him in the elite conversation. Maybe Morgan Geekie washes away his March scoring drought. Maybe Jeremy Swayman can steal a game or two in the process. But the rest of the roster construction? It's got nice depth, but is there anything really impactful here? Maybe they get an arsenal of John Druces and Max Talbots in this run. It makes sense for the four-leaf clover the Bruins have up their ass this year. Hope you're not on a no-carb diet, Boston. You're gonna be served endless pasta and breadsticks this April. What's it gonna take? We ponder when the Canes are gonna finally break through to the Cup Finals, but the real question should be how they're gonna rip their fans in half this time. On paper, they're phenomenal. Finely tuned, carefully constructed, analytically optimized goodness that would run through walls for Rob the Bond. Depth, talent, skill, grit, and physicality rolled into one almost perfect package. Miko drama? Never heard of it. Everything they need for success is in their lineup and they know it. But like all great Canes teams, there's a glaring Achilles heel that might end them prematurely. And that would be between the pipes. Freddie so overcooked the char at the bottom of the oven's becoming char itself. And Brandon Bussey's been an incredible story that saved Carolina's season, but the clock might be striking midnight on his dream ball. His save percentage since March? Good God! Helmets or not, there will be no excuses for failure here. Florida's nowhere to be found. The time is now to make a push. And again, if we call them the Bills of hockey, considering what happened to the Bills back in January, prepare for self-inflicted pain. What the fuck? You're supposed to be tanking for McKenna, Pens. I have the script in my hand. You were to trade Malkin to a three-peat gunning Florida for Mackie Semiskevich or some shit. All those pundits that want Crosby in Colorado are seething while the rest of us are stunned shitless. Cal Dubas' Midas touch has gifted Pittsburgh with another chance at glory. The rise of Russians and Erik Karlsson's renaissance. A fresh ideology that's been needed for years on end. The epitome of chaos itself. I'm dead serious. Their defense and goaltending are a heart-stopping adventure in every contest. And not in a good way. No lead is safe. For either team. Even an 8-goal lead isn't a sizable cushion with these fucking Penguins. They blow multi-goal leads like it's nobody's business. Seriously, it's happened like 20 times this year. Edmonton's gonna be hate-watching Stuart Skinner to get their minds off Tristan Jarry's albatross of horrors. Pittsburgh has the forward core to go deep. Everything else? Hard fucking no. Wait, I'm being pessimistic. There are no shootouts in the playoffs. It's Gino's potential last ride while he's found the fountain of youth. Doors wide open, boys! Although considering their opponents... Really? The Flyers made it? After being uninspired direct for about 80% of the season. They really are the epitome of Luigi wins by doing nothing. About 4 to 5 teams in the East self-immolate while they play relatively competent hockey. That's how you backdoor your way into another Battle of Pennsylvania. Trevor Zegras playing real hockey while Matvei Mishkov and Rick Tocchet have an uneasy peace. What a world we live in. Add some Porter Martone in there for good measure as more impact talent and you're good to go. Unsustainable stretches with OT wins out the ass are magic, aren't they? Nothing like an unhinged gritty and the power of friendship. But here, the absolute worst power play in the league going far without an enema? What they have in net? I'm sorry, but I can't be all that confident in a team when they put their eggs in Dan fucking Vladar's basket. As fortunate as this is, they're not truly ready for a deep run, but knowing Philly culture, they'll rip out several chunks of flesh each period while chanting Crosby sucks to Kingdom Come. They're rolling to the Eastern Conference Finals, aren't they? Like the Flyers, everything's apparently coming up Ottawa. Think back to the Olympic break. Circling the trains of their division, couldn't buy a save even if they bribed them under the table and without a first-round pick to show for it due to the previous regime's incompetence. Then things finally clicked. Seriously, you can't keep that strong core down for long. That and nearly every single team gunning for a wildcard collapsing on themselves down the stretch. Hell, even the NHL felt trolls were more so gifted than the 32nd pick in this year's draft. Perhaps the hockey gods had the same ripple effect. Strong frontline talent, some savvy moves, and the veteran Claude Giroux all molding into place. And it's accomplished with goaltending being completely optional most games. Linus Ullmark has been something this year. If I'm him, I simply burn everything and reset in September. That is, unless he finds last year's form. He better. It's either that or 2026 James Reimer. Can we say wild card, folks? This is Ottawa in a nutshell. Good news is there's no Toronto to lord over them, so it might be a new predator feasting on them this time around. But if they fail again, Brady Tkachuk might be running the podcast circuit this offseason. Life comes at you fast in the NHL. Teams that were thought to be dead mere months ago are thriving. And a few of the usual April suspects are out of the picture. We'll have a new team hoisting the cup for certain, but who makes it there from these 16? That's a mystery to us all. This is a pretty tough choice for me. Last year I had a few of the favorites make it, but who saw Florida make it there 3 years ago? Dallas in 2020? The Kings as the ultimate Cinderella story? Maybe they can do it again? No. But for me, I'm going with Team Chaos. Buffalo against Minnesota. Fuck it, all the memes being destroyed at once in a cavalcade of madness. That and a fuck Norm Green. I would say Dallas in their stead, but I'll spare them both from the trauma. I expect great hockey to be played. Don't let me down.
Here comes Markstrom. Markstrom and Shesterkin drop the gloves. Markstrom was not happy that Shesterkin took a shot at one of his teammates. So Markstrom came all the way down the ice, and he and Shesterkin are throwing punches. And Shesterkin lands a couple. Down goes Markstrom. Wow.